Round 6 is now about to come up. Might tell you that Jim Jeffries came out of 5 years retirement a long while ago to meet Jack Johnson at Reno in 1910. He was age 35, and Johnson knocked him out. Here we have Lewis out of retirement, fighting the NBA heavyweight champion, Joe Louis, the undefeated former heavyweight champion of the world, trying to do what no man before him has done, win back his title. And now he's aggressive, as he's meeting a very aggressive, lighter opponent. The pattern has changed a bit now. Now in close, I see that Lewis is beginning to develop a mouse under his left eye. Yes, there it is, quite apparent. No obvious markings on Charles. 2 minutes to go in the 6th round. Joe's beginning to breathe a bit now. Close here at the ringside, we can see that. Now, Mark Kahn, constantly staying out of the way, has very little to do as the third man in the ring. Both these boys, superbly clean fighters. The pattern has changed enough so that we see a mauling round now instead of the long-distance clean fighting. And amazingly, Charles is willing to stay in with Joe Louis. Now, let's see. Louis, I think, has perceptibly slowed down, but Charles has in a sense, too. 1 minute to go of the 6th round of the heavyweight championship bout here at Yankee Stadium in New York City. Brought to you with the good wishes of Pabst Blue Ribbon Beer. Yowza, yowza. Well, here they are right over our microphone, and the exchanges are terrifying. Joe's willing to strike, but he's missing. And the lighter opponent wrestled him away that time. Half a minute to go of the 6th round, and Charles is dropping his right hand, which normally he keeps very high as protection. That may be an indication. Joe's noticed it. Round is almost over. Well, here we've definitely seen something tonight. We see one pattern in which a lighter opponent has been striking out with the best force possible, tried to, in the best essence of his Cobra style, cut up Joe Louis, aging as he is, and to slow his reflexes down to the very lowest point. On the other hand, Joe Louis, having started the fight with an aggressive amount of boxing ability, trying to get to his lighter opponent to score that punch which will slow him down. Charles, as you recognize, has been spinning Louis beautifully when in trouble. And despite the fact that he slows down, as I have witnessed in the 1 minute and a half after the round begins, he has nevertheless been able to watch everything that Joe Louis has been doing. Here we go for round 7. One other observation. I noticed that Louis didn't like the feel of the ice pack on his eye. And now you see Charles is striking for that eye. There's the pattern for this round. There he goes, hitting him there constantly. And Lewis's eye is beginning to develop a tremendous closing. It's almost an aperture now, slit. So we always have the spectacle of the Louis that we knew with that tremendous right, and there he threw it, and the constant application of good blows with craftiness and agility and fluency by Ezzard Charles. Two minutes to go in the 7th round of the heavyweight championship out here at Yankee Stadium in New York. And a goodly crowd on hand and giving generous applause to all the exchanges. Picture reveals now the boys are going into the milling style, for the round, you see, is almost half over. And Charles willingly steps away to watch what Joe Louis will do. Joe, for a second there, had Charles in trouble, but Charles weaves out of it. I think Charles has developed a mouse under his left eye, too. So they both have slightly closing left eyes. So they'll both be fighting with one eye. So it's right hand, hitting to right hand. 1 minute to go in the 7th round. And we come to the slowing process. The man, 36, but yet with the punch. The youth with 29, and yet being slowed down by punches. Charles still keeps hitting with that right. Of course, what Louis wants is Charles to come in close as he slows him down. Half a minute to go, and the crowd anticipated that was it, but Joe missed both shots. Joe keeps Charles in close. Well, what the two questions were, can the old man of 36, and I use the word old advisedly, and how good is Ezzard Charles? The question is being answered almost halfway through the fight. Round 7 is almost over. As the fight goes on, the excitement of the crowd becomes, I think, more dramatic in this respect, that they're just watching, constantly watching, to see whether Joe is going to slow down Ezzard Charles and get to him, or whether Ezzard Charles will be able to close Joe's eyes and keep flicking away at him. So far, it's been the perfect fight. There's Charles with that speed, the rapier stuff, in the first minute and a half of each round. He has excellent recuperative powers in between the rounds, and it keeps him moving for at least a minute and a half. There's Joe. Now counterpunching. Joe is a little at a disadvantage with that left eye, continuing to close, so the lefts have got to be thrown with a little speculation. And so, for that matter, is Ezzard Charles. Not quite as apparent to the camera as it is to us at the ringside. Two minutes to go of the 8th round of this 15-round heavyweight championship bout here at the Yankee Stadium in New York. Charles continues to pummel away in that first minute and a half, always keeping Joe at a disadvantage, and then suddenly Joe seems to have the weight to put into Charles. So far, he hasn't leaned that weight on Charles during the fight. Here they are right over our Pabst Blue Ribbon microphone. Charles has been fighting with a greater severity and a greater amount of punching ability in this round than he has in any previous round, so perhaps that remark I made about his recuperative powers stands in good stead. One minute remains of round 8, and Joe Louis is beginning to slow down a little bit as Charles keeps punching away, and he's brought a slight touch, I think, of a fatigued look to Joe's face, and just the slightest touch of claret to his nose. So the Cincinnati Cobra is fighting for the face, fighting as he planned to fight, to cut Joe Louis up and slow him down on account of his years. And so perhaps we're seeing in this half-minute remaining of the 8th round the best of the ability of Ezzard Charles, which may answer one of the questions. How good is he? The other one has yet to be answered. Can Joe come back? Round is almost over, and Joe keeps stalking as he does right up to the bell. shooting the short ones inside now, and may have a telling effect on Ezzard Charles, who evidently senses the round is at an end. Well, now, as we tabulate at the ringside, it's just a question of how the boys see it.